two.
Welcome to Cabomil News and Community Update in English. This is Korey Riggs, along with my partner in crime, Claudia Velo. Claudia, how are you?
I'm great. I'm happy to be here.
What day is today? It's the 28th of March.
March.
March is
March.
almost over. So if you're listening on the radio, 96.3 FM, you are hearing us on the 28th of March. And very excited to be here. We have a great show. We have some great news for Los Cabos, and we thought we would go right to the source of the person who brought that great news to Los Cabos. We have Rodrigo Esponda, who is the director of the Los Cabos Tourism Board, with us today, and we're going to talk about this new designation that Los Cabos has. It's a safe zone for travel. It's verified by Forbes Travel Guide and Sharecare as a safety area. Did I say that right, Rodrigo? Welcome to the show.
Welcome, Korey. How are you, Claudia? Perfect.
Hi.
You said it perfectly.
Oh, perfect.
You're hired, Korey.
I may need a new job. So that I'm always willing to come work for the tourism board, Rodrigo, just so you know. Shamelessly, I'm interviewing for you right now. But anyway, hey, tell us what this all means, because this is a big deal.
It is a big deal. And first, I will say that, Korey, you do work for the destination. So you are
Thank you very much. Yes.
what you do. So we truly applaud the effort of communication that you and Claudia do. This certification, it's very interesting. The founder of Sharecare is a company that has been around for many years. It was founded by a tycoon in the Silicon Valley in California that is in technology, but technology focused on the health and the wellness of the companies and of the human beings. So they develop and they have different type of solutions, technological solutions for businesses where they monitor on technology how is the level of safety. So they created a division for tourism after when COVID-19 hit. And he came. So he came last year around the month of November. We had a meeting. He introduced what he was doing, the platform. And what is interesting is that it is a 360 criteria that are monitored on a 360 basis, because it's a technological platform. It is not something that you disconnect or connect. And it is not like other certifications that they come and you might be complying with all the protocols that day, but then the day after you forget about it. Here is 360, is constantly. It is easily replied by different departments on the hotels, and then it is connected with consumers through Forbes Travel Guide and B2B and travel agencies through a consortia that is called Internova. So let's say that you have the certification, but you are not applying it correctly, and then a consumer comes and they put a bad review, or they go back and give a bad review to their travel agencies. So then it would be appearing on the platform, and so it's regulated through technology with reviews that now you know that they're very powerful, and they use social media, the forums, and all that they aggregate. So this is what is interesting. Then he told us that if we would be able to get all the hotels, it doesn't matter if they are 3-star or 20 stars on the program, because all the hotels have to provide with the same level of safety. And the protocols that they are included, of course, are the normal one, but they go very thorough on other processes, and they also include communication, human resources, because it's communication not just outside, but how internally are you communicating the protocols and the different measures that internally have to be done and comply. So we got it. It took us a couple of months to get the consensus on all the destinations and to get everybody on board, because as you know, there are hotels that are very big and some others that are small. So we had to do a one-to-one basis in order for them to get to the point that we did. But finally we did it, and we're very proud that we are the first destination in the world that has all the hotels complying with this protocol, and that it would be providing an optimization for us moving forward, because if there are new things that are discovered, then this platform would be incorporating, and on a periodical basis, the departments at the hotels get the questions to be updating on different things. So then it has to be updated. So I think it's something that we will see moving forward, much more constant in the tourism industry.
No, what an incredible thing. And it seems so thorough. And the forethought of doing this, Rodrigo, to you and your team and the whole Los Cabos community, it's just amazing. And to be the first destination in the world to have this, it must be showing, and that's what we'd like to ask you about, is it showing results already? Is there all of a sudden, have reservations gone up? I mean, there must be a lot of media around this.
Well, yeah, we've been doing a lot of media. We were tracking, for example, our visits on the website and social media, and there was a big engagement, a jump in the engagement as we have not seen it, but it was just one day. So we need to track it. We track it week by week. The reservations have increased to the destination as the vaccination campaigns in the United States have been progressing. So we definitely saw at the beginning of March a jump that is being increasing. The last 2 Saturdays have been record breaks in the number of visitors per day. So the first 2 Saturdays ago, we got the biggest number of arrivals in the airport in a year. So since we started March in 2020. And the advanced bookings seem to be very, very good. Everybody's booking very last minute, short term. But in April, we see very good advanced booking reservations. However, I have to say that the priority has to be the safety of the travelers. The other day, one of the hotels was sharing with me that they thought that they would be reducing the rate in order to have more reservations coming to the system, and they tried and they didn't see any change. So they saw the same pace, and then they decided to come back to the same. And I think that goes to the point that the market is not booking because of price to Los Cabos, but because of safety. And that's where we need to concentrate us in offering a value on the experience and a personal service.
Well, I know I was just reading in the paper today, Arizona, and we're recording this on Friday. Arizona just completely opened up, and the governor just came out and said there's no mask mandate anymore, and businesses are all willing to open up. And I know that there must be 17 or 18 states in the United States that have done that, and obviously from the vaccination campaigns or low infection rates. But have you seen so things like that? That must also be affecting Los Cabos. And when someone is in an open state like that, and I know there's a lot of people just rearing to go on vacation from the United States right now, and they hear this about Los Cabos, just what a brilliant thing that we've been able to accomplish. And I think we're going to see a huge uptick, because states like Arizona, California, which isn't open yet, but hopefully sometime soon, but Texas, these states that are opening more in the south, that's where we get a lot of visitors from for Los Cabos. Is that correct?
That's correct. We have seen an increase on the northeast and on the east coast, even Florida. We have seen an increase in the number of visitors. What it's been truly remarkable is arrivals on private planes. People from those states that you mentioned have been coming on their private planes, and now there are a few new companies that are hybrid models between commercial airlines and the private plane, where you don't need to charter the whole plane. There are some commercial routes to Arizona, Scottsdale to Los Cabos, and Los Angeles to Los Cabos, and Texas to Los Cabos, but from the FBOs. So then you just need to come to the airport to arrive 20 minutes before what is scheduled. No lines, and then you arrive here in Los Cabos to the FBO. So no lines, and the process is much secure. And you just buy the seat. You don't need to buy the whole plane or to charter the whole plane. So the cost is not as expensive as a private plane, but a little bit more expensive than flying on business. But we have seen a big increase there.
Wow.
And I think there's going to be a big revolution on this segment of travel on small planes, because many corporations in the United States are not using their planes for corporate travel as they used to. And so there are availability of planes, and because we are in short range from some key markets, like you mentioned, then we have seen a big increase.
What an incredible! And when I've traveled a couple times to Arizona, and when I go to the airport, it's just amazing the FBO section of the airport, how full it is, and all the planes that are there. It's truly a great sight to see. Claudia, you better jump in here because I'm taking over again.
How odd, Korey. How very odd. Now, to your point, Rodrigo, with this new hybrid semi-private airlines, and with people wanting to spend longer time on average on their trips, how is Los Cabos working to maintain its position as a premier kind of like very high-end destination? The fact that hotels are not dropping rates obviously is one of them. What else is being done?
Well, we've been doing a lot of promotion on exclusive experiences that Los Cabos really excel doing that. And we have seen a number of people have been coming, and instead of opting to take the regular tour with 20 people, they just want to select a 6-person contained group on a trip. That could be whale watching or an excursion. And we have seen a lot of private cuisine services. So if they are staying in a hotel or in a villa, instead of going to the restaurant like regular, they prefer to reserve a section on the beach and then have a VIP private dinner with some musician and you know. But that presents a good opportunity for the destination to increase the spending per visitor. And I think somebody the other day was mentioning about, as you know, the nightlife is restricted to midnight, and then what should they do if a group wants to have a little bit of music, and said that's an opportunity for you to offer some services on a more private basis to the group, and then charge more, and then they would be better protected rather than just driving them to the club.
Another question, Rodrigo. We know spring break this year was a little bit atypical because we saw more families coming together. I mean, college kids, but with their parents or other members of their family. What's the opinion, or what have been the observations of the tourism board in regards to this?
Definitely smaller groups, more families, and as I was mentioning, that those groups, for example, even 2 families together that they come traveling together, of course they want to spend a nice time, and we have a lot of options, so they can have tours, excursions, dinners. We developed a new luxury guide precisely to include all of those specific services that you can do: a yoga class, a fitness class on the beach, taking some special instructor that would show you astronomy on what the sky can offer you, or take you to the Sierra de la Laguna. That is a fantastic region that we offer. So all of those private excursions, we have seen a big jump in what people are coming to do, and everybody wants to be safe, and that's definitely a priority.
If you're just joining us, we're speaking with Rodrigo Esponda, the director of the Los Cabos Tourism Board, and we're talking about the verified safe by Forbes travel guide and Sharecare, first destination in the world, Los Cabos. Very excited that this is happening, and what a great job that the tourism board has done to get this accomplished. Rodrigo, I have a quick question about where the developments involved when they were going through and verifying all the hotels. Were the different developments also the restaurants and the different aspects of the developments involved in this process as well?
Yes. In the 360 criteria, it has to be comprehensive. But so the company does not come to do the inspection. What happened is that they send you a link that you have on your phone that you have to click it, and then there are very specific questions that you need to reply on how you are handling. And the questions are just yes or no, yes or no, yes or no. And different departments in the developments have to reply. So if it's related to food and beverage, has to be the food and beverage department. If it's safety, then safety. Human resources has to be human resources. So it has to be replied by different departments in the developments, and then periodically they check, and that's why. But they use the technology in order to know. So if, let's say, property says, oh yes, I replied yes to the different things, and they are not complying, then there's going to be a negative review of one of the travelers because they do a scroll on social media. So that's what it's interesting on this platform that provides a better level of safety than just a regular inspection.
Well, and it's amazing too, because as we're making sure the tourists are safe, all these protocols too are really helping the employees be safe as well. It's what a great thing.
Exactly.
What a great thing for the community. So the other thing I was wondering is I know that our semaforo, the stoplight system is going down. We're at level 3 still, Claudia, this week,
yes.
and I think we're supposed to stay there until after Semana Santa. And I'm, I look at the numbers every day from the community alliance that I'm involved with. We get the numbers, and it seems like the numbers are at a level where we should be at a lower level. And I'm just wondering what the outlook is, Rodrigo, of us opening up more. I know that there's a lot of talk about being cautionary because of spring break and Semana Santa. What's your feeling about how fast we're going to get to hopefully level 1?
Well, I think we're going to stay in level 3 for the time that we are, until we know exactly that this is not affecting in an incremental number of cases that could happen suddenly. So probably I would say that all the month of April we will stay at 50%. I think what is important is that the destination runs in a regular year at 70% capacity. So we are not that far from that. And the average daily rate in the destination is 20% higher than for the month of February and March. It's 20% higher than what it was in 2019. So I think that presents a good opportunity, and the visitors are not looking to see massive number of people walking around from one place to the other. So I think all in all, we are in a very good opportunity to improve the positioning of Los Cabos from what we were in 2019, that now everybody would refer to Los Cabos as a safe place to visit with unique experiences and really value for their product that we offer. So I don't think that we will move to a level, the next level, level 4, probably all the way up to the summer. And the last phase, let's say in green level, we would have to be with very little number of cases, and the vaccination campaign would have to advance more. But the industry, what is interesting is that the industry overall is not hoping to get very sudden jumps back to the normal. Everybody, airlines, tour operators, the surveys and the research that is done in the consumers, even though that the states might be opening, saying, okay, all the businesses back to open, no face mask and whatsoever. Nobody's expecting that, for example, travel will get back to the levels that it was in 2019. In 2021 or 2022, IATA and the other organizations have said that even domestic traffic in the United States is not going to get back to the level that it was until 2023, at the end of 2023.
Very interesting. Anything else, Claudia, before I jump into some other stuff with Rodrigo?
Yeah, at this point, I was wondering, what's the competition for Los Cabos? Knowing what the restrictions in travel are for other places, like Hawaii was a big competitor. How do other destinations compare to Los Cabos now?
The main competitors now are the U.S. destinations. So depending on whatever you want to travel, but the U.S. destinations that, as you know, they don't need to go to do a testing when they come back. Now we see that the market has get used to have testing, and they don't bother, and they see it as another level of security that they can provide to themselves. But we believe that definitely that is being a factor for people traveling inside the United States. There are interesting things happening in other places in the Caribbean, where I've been participating in forums and other talks where few destinations in the Caribbean mentioned that they have a super huge budget from their governments in order to do massive marketing campaigns. So it's going to be interesting. We're working in a new marketing campaign for the next month. As you know, we were running the Los Cabos rules, but now we need to come with a fresh material and a different tagline. So we're going to be doing that in a couple of weeks. We don't have a massive budget. And so it's going to be interesting what is going to happen with the other destinations out there.
Right. Did you see any big important results or news from the Tianguis Turístico, which is the biggest kind of like travel trade fair in Mexico for the coming year?
Where we have good news. For example, JetBlue, as you know, is coming to the destination. Daily stop starting in June from Los Angeles and from New York. Spirit Airline is going to have a couple of new flights as well from the United States, and we're developing we're reviewing with other airlines some other origin markets. Miami is an interesting market that we are developing. But Tianguis Turístico, we had the regular communication with the partners that we usually do.
Excellent. Well, so good news overall. Yeah. You just keep putting Cabos in front of everybody, which is what we want. Make sure that it keeps going. And you help us a
lot. The other day,
absolutely.
I took a tour with some people from the U.S. that live here, and when I said my name, they told me, "Oh, we have heard you with Korey and Claudia."
Good.
Oh my gosh, that's the best thing I've heard all day. Thank you,
awesome
Rodrigo.
Validation. Thank you.
Hey, Rodrigo, we have a couple minutes left, and I want to get into your shark thing. How you like to swim with sharks. So we talk about it whenever you're on. And we actually planned this next guest because of you, is Fernanda Nieto. And we're going to bring her on after the break, but she is a shark expert. And so we just wanted to hear from you any of your latest adventures. Have you been scuba diving with the sharks in Cabo Pulmo?
Yes, I've been doing that almost every 2 weeks. Now the water is cold. It's 68, 67. So you need a hoodie and
a wetsuit.
To do it, but it's been fantastic and a lot of life now. You see whales and so it's been terrific, the scuba diving. With the guys that I was telling you, I saw big mantas.
Wow.
We went to see, and that's when we were seeing the big mantas, and they told me that they have listened to your program. They always listen to it.
Oh, that's very exciting. I mean, you can get a lot of information from us, right, Claudia? A lot of good stuff. keep listening when you're out there. Well, I just want to say, Rodrigo, you look very cool today. We're used to seeing you in like a coat and tie. He got a great T-shirt on. So if you're listening to us on the radio, you need to go check us out on Facebook at Cabomil News, because this guy's looking good today, and you look good every day. But this is a new look for you.
Yes.
And I like it. It doesn't look good, Claudia?
He looks great. I mean, this is the coolest version of Rodrigo Esponda you will see. I think it's great. Even my cat has come to check it out.
Absolutely. And all kidding aside, Rodrigo, what an incredible job that you and your team have done for Los Cabos and continue to do. And just we applaud you. If you're watching, we're applauding. And just thank you for everything you do for Los Cabos. It's really incredible. And thank you for always being willing to come on the show and talk to us about what's happening and talk to the English-speaking community.
Thank you. It's a teamwork. You know, the tourism community, and you are part of the tourism community, truly contribute to be making a very good effort for Los Cabos and to make Los Cabos the best destination. So thank you.
Well, we all know it's the best place to be. So everyone keep coming. We're going to be back after this break. Again, thank you, Rodrigo, for being here, and stay with us.
Thank you. Bye-bye, Claudia.
Bye.
Bye.
Gracias, Rodrigo.
Thank you, Rodrigo.
Bye.
All right. That was good.
Awesome. And it's great news for Cabo. Those hybrid private airlines.
No, that's incredible.
Amazing, because it's like you are flying private, but you're not paying the super high prices, because now all of a sudden there's a lot of these corporate airplanes that are not being used. And
what a great business. I mean, it's going to change the travel industry completely. That's incredible. So
yes.
What a great business model. So how many minutes do we have for the next segment, Claudia?
We have, give me 1 second. I have it here. Downloads. Mm-hmm. Continue that. We have 27 minutes.
27. Okay. And then I'm going to look up. Hello, Fernanda.
Hi.
Hola,
How are you? Nice.
Fernanda.
Hola. Hi. Nice to meet you.
Mucho gusto.
Mucho gusto.
We're on Facebook Live, just so you know. So you're on the air, so you can say hi.
Great. Hi.
But we're actually not on Facebook. It's going to be on Facebook. So
Right.
we're just recording right now.
Yeah.
But we will have this on Facebook Live, just so you know. This will be aired. But welcome to the show. We're very
Thank
excited
you
to
so
talk
much.
with you, and I'm very excited to go on an expedition with you. Now that
I hope so.
now that I've looked at your website, and it's very exciting, and I've got a bunch of people that want to go with me. So
Awesome. Sounds great.
yeah. So I'm going to pull up your website here so I can show. And Claudia, we'll make
Yeah,
sure
let
I
me,
can.
Let me give you sharing permit. There you go.
Yes, I literally only have one table in my whole house, and it's my dining table. So I'm like in my bedroom.
No worries. No worries.
It's fine. Hey, guys.
All right. So Fernanda, what's your title?
My title.
Yeah. Do you have a title? Like are you the owner of Latitude Encounters? Are you what?
Yeah, I'm the owner, operator,
And Shark Woman.
Perfect.
shark woman,
And Shark Woman. Shark Woman.
photographer. I embody
Awesome.
many
Shark expert.
many forms.
When I met Fernanda the other night, it was really
Yeah.
funny because we were in a very kind of like scholar. It was a great atmosphere, but people were asking if she was a marine biologist or what, and she was like,
Yeah.
"No, I'm just a guide. She swims with sharks all the time and knows
Look how-
all about it." So
Look how cool this website is
I know.
too. Yeah, this
Her
is a great
website's
website.
awesome. Mhm.
Thanks
Oh my
so
gosh.
much. I made the website. So
You did? You have many
That's right.
talents,
I
Fernanda.
So
spent
multiple
quarantine
talented.
learning how to make websites, apparently.
I mean, it's amazing. Wow.
So, yeah.
Great website.
Very nice website. All right. Well, everybody on Facebook Live, you can see this is the website of Fernanda, who actually made this, along with being a shark expert and everything else she does. So
And I love the logo. It's great.
Oh, thank you.
yeah.
Great.
All right. So this is very, very cool. Let's just go down a little bit while we're still on Facebook Live. We'll show people what we do. Oh my gosh, look at all this.
So many things.
So many things.
Yeah.
One day
So, like,
adventures. Yeah, go ahead.
One day adventures probably our like main thing.
Uh-huh.
And we just do like day trips leaving from Cabo. And there's a few different options, but the main things that we do are shark dives. And then we also have like an open ocean safari where we just go out to the open ocean and kind of try our luck and search for whatever we can. And sometimes it's absolutely mind-blowing.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's less mind-blowing, but the ocean knows what it wants.
That's like fishing. Sometimes it's mind blowing, and sometimes it's mind numbing. So, so you have a beautiful website. Congratulations! And
Thanks
and I promise I'm coming on a tour soon. So I'll be in
I can't
contact
wait.
because we'll get that out. So I think we'll just show this on the Facebook Live audience, Claudia, and we'll start with the interview whenever you're ready. So everybody
right.
saw the website. We'll tell people to go to the
Go
to Facebook Live.
Yes.
And we have 27, right?
27, yes.
Yep.
We have to do the news in that sense.
Oh yes. Okay. So we'll stop. How much time do we need for the news, do you think?
I think 5 minutes at the most.
5 minutes? Okay. So Fernanda, we'll let you go in about 20 minutes.
Okay.
And then we'll get to the news. Well,
Awesome.
it'll be casual. All right. Cool.
I'm nervous and excited.
Fine. This is as intense as it gets, so don't worry.
Yes.
It's fine.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
You tell me when to go, Claudia.
In 3, 2.
Welcome back to Cabomil News and Community Update in English. Today is March 28th, and we just had a great interview with Rodrigo Esponda, Claudia. Everyone should check it out. If you didn't hear it on the radio, you can go to Facebook Live at Cabomil News. So go to the Facebook channel, Cabomil News, or you can go to our YouTube channel at Cabomil News as well. But we are very excited because we ended the last segment talking to Rodrigo because we know he loves to swim with sharks.
He does.
And so we wanted to transition to someone that swims with a shark all the time, who actually doesn't, that is their job. Not like Rodrigo, who has a regular job and then goes swims with sharks. This is this person's job. And we want to welcome Fernanda Nieto to the show, who is the owner, operator, and lots of other things of Latitude Encounters. We showed her website on Facebook Live, so go there. You can check it out. We will also put all of her information on the Facebook page. Claudia, why don't you introduce Fernanda, because you are the one that found her because you went to a talk the other night.
I did. Last week, there was a talk at Time Co., which is a great place owned by Javi Tejeda. Go check it out. And there was Jim Abernathy. Now, Jim Abernathy is this guy who spends his time diving with sharks. But what he does is different. He doesn't put you in a cage. What happens is you go down and he proves to you that sharks actually like affection. And he rubs sharks' heads and creates a bond with sharks. And then he has dedicated a lot of his time to remove hooks from sharks. And he's been in this area here in Cabo for several weeks, from what I understand. And during that time, he went diving with Fernanda, and they took a hook off a mako. Now, anybody that knows anything about sharks and the common perception of sharks, makos are supposed to be some of the most aggressive sharks there are.
Yes.
Well, Fernanda goes diving with sharks every day, and here she is to tell us that that's not quite the case. So tell us. Welcome, Fernanda.
Welcome, Fernanda.
Hi, Claudia and Korey. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
Fernanda, first tell us where are you from?
I'm actually originally from Mexico City.
A Chilanga. All right.
Yeah, that's right. So
and how long have you been in Los Cabos?
I've been in Los Cabos close to 5 years now.
Okay, casi chollera. She's almost a chollera, so she's
A couple more years and she qualifies.
Yeah.
So it's amazing to me. You're from Mexico City and you swim with sharks. So that's very interesting. So, and Claudia mentioned something. So we're going to let you talk, but I was fascinated when she just mentioned you take hooks out of the shark, and I'm just imagining going down and sticking your hand into a shark's mouth to get a hook out. Or am I wrong here? What are you doing with that? How does that work?
Well, it's a pretty slow process. It's not like, oh, it's got a hook, go for it, get it out. Like Jim was saying in the talk that we had last time, it's about building a relationship with sharks. Now he has like resident sharks, so he's seeing the same sharks over and over again. So he's really creating a relationship with them. And we dive with pelagic sharks, which means that they're a highly migratory species. They don't live in one specific spot. And oftentimes the sharks that we see are different sharks. It's rare that we recognize the same shark. And very, very frequently, we're probably the first time they've ever interacted with a human other than potentially being hooked on a fishing line. So it's a very different interaction, but pretty amazing to be with these animals, especially the fact that, they're out in the middle of the blue. The chances of finding them are not the highest, and still we're there and we get them and we get in the water with them. And taking the hooks out, luckily I haven't had too many sharks with hooks, but this one was a big, big hook. It was a long line fishing hook. So they're really thick, really, really thick. And after swimming for about 2 hours with her, she was a pretty big shark. I said to Jim, I was like, all right, well, what are we going to do about this? Because she's pretty calm and we're here. And let's try. And I hadn't tried earlier because I didn't want her to freak out and go away. And so he's like, yeah, let's give it a go. So I met Jim through a good friend of mine, Hex, who works with him in Bahamas. And so I said, well, you've got much more experience than I do getting hooks out. You try. If not, I'll try. And we just pulled the line and cut it. And she didn't change behavior, nothing, she was super calm. So then we started going, okay, well, maybe she'll let us go for the hook. And we took some pliers and just free diving, really calm, next to the shark, getting as close as possible. And luckily she kind of, in a way, knew that we were trying to help or something, because we're talking about the fastest shark in the water, faster than any other shark. And she was swimming super slow and just letting us get close. And Hex managed to get that hook out in about 2 tries. So it was really good day.
Awesome.
Yeah.
My mouth is wide open thinking about this. So I just want to picture this. This shark is swimming slow. How far in the mouth was this hook?
They're usually kind of like outside, right?
Yeah, like it was in the corner of the mouth, but it was in there. Like the first time he managed to pull it out a little bit, and then the second time it took him like, I don't know, maybe 30 seconds of like wiggling it around, which is 30 seconds is longer than it sounds.
Oh my God.
Yes.
2 seconds is longer than it sounds when you're talking about what you're doing here.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. The funny thing with makos, like their teeth, if you've seen a photo of a mako, they get a bad rap because their teeth really stick out of their mouth. They're not the friendliest looking sharks. They're great, but they're not. I mean, they do have a lot of teeth. So it's just about being careful and confident in your decision, I guess. But mainly, so all of the diving that we do is free diving, so no tanks.
Okay.
And so you're not like intimidating the shark. You're being very, very slow, and we're swimming next to it. And if it lets you, it lets you. And if it doesn't want it, it's going to go away.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's just amazing. Okay. So what happened after you got the hook out? Was the shark, was she appreciative?
Super happy. Yeah, she was definitely. I mean, she came back and she was swimming around us and she was very interactive. I mean, from the very beginning, she was a great shark. Like she was super interactive and she was always sticking around. But after we got the hook out, my fear was that she was going to assume, because it would have hurt her to pull it. And she didn't go away. She came back, and even after we got the hook out, we did a little bit of free diving with her, and she was swimming around, and I would say she was definitely happy. We don't often feed sharks. We just chum the water, which means like using attraction, like the blood and oil from the fish to attract it, but we don't actually feed them. But we gave her a little bit of fish after that.
And she felt good because she could eat with her mouth that was hookless now. Hook. So exciting. So that's what I was going to ask, and I want to get into how you find the sharks and those things, but I was going to ask if you chum the waters to bring the sharks when you take people out on these adventures. Yeah,
we chum the water. So, I mean, we're out in the blue. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, we do have specific spots that we visit. It's not like random.
Okay.
We go to similar to sports fishing, so like pinnacles and canyons and like that type of bottom topography, and we do chum the water. So these pelagic sharks, they're moving around, they're pretty much searching for food, and they're not residents to any specific area. So we need to bring them up to where we are. So the chumming process can take like 20 minutes or 4 hours.
And does it usually attract multiple sharks or?
Yeah, like these are pretty solo sharks. So they're not like hanging around in big schools. But we often get more than one. The first one's the hardest, and then sometimes others come. Right now it's blue sharks and mako sharks are the sharks that we're seeing.
Okay.
Blue sharks tend to have friends. I like to say so. Once we get one blue shark, we often get a second or third one. But
Okay.
3 sharks is already, like, for us, 3 sharks is a lot. We don't get like big schools. In the summer months in Cabo, we have the schooling silky sharks that are here to mate. And then we get big schools of sharks in the water, of the silky sharks, sometimes 20, 30, 40 sharks together, which is really, really fun.
Wow. Wow. That's incredible.
Amazing.
And you're calling these tell me the name of these sharks
Pelagic.
again.
Pelagic.
So is a hammerhead shark a pelagic shark?
Yeah.
Oh, they are. Okay. So what other sharks are pelagic sharks?
Well, basically like these migratory species that don't live so close to coastal waters. So like the tiger sharks and the bull sharks that are like almost residents to certain areas are one type. And then we have like Galapagos sharks, the makos and the blues, smooth hammerheads, the silkies, duskies, sharks that are moving around a lot.
Well, we're speaking to Fernanda Nieto of Latitude Encounters, shark experts, photographer, and all-around hook remover of sharks. And how about great white sharks? Are great whites pelagic sharks?
Pelagic.
And are they around this area? Are there some?
There are reports of great whites moving in this area, and there are some theories of great whites giving birth in the Sea of Cortez, but they're very, very rare and not close to the coast. I mean, we go out, I mean, the furthest spot that I go to from shore is about 14 nautical miles.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit more, like from coast, right? Maybe from Cabo, it's a bit more, but directly from the coast. And the great whites are not in this area. I mean, they might come past, but they're much further out.
They're much further out. Yeah. Okay.
And it's
you
also
mentioned
not super common.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And do you go? I mean, I've been scuba diving at the Gordo Banks before. That's the probably farthest out in the middle I've been. Is that a place where I know I found some hammerheads there.
Yeah.
There was, but is that a place you go? Is that area or?
Yeah, sometimes in the summertime specifically, there's more silky sharks around there.
Ah, okay. Okay.
But right now, all the action is in the Pacific Ocean, mostly. So we're going to the Pacific. It also like moves a little bit with the currents and the water temperatures and stuff. So we kind of have to keep an eye on what's going on in the ocean to decide where we go and try our luck. And I mean, there are days where we don't get sharks. There's no guarantee for the sharks to show up. Yeah, right now we're mostly in the Pacific, and I think that the shark season is going to be extra long this year because the water is really cold. I don't know if any of you have been in the water lately, but
yes,
it's colder than normal. so the sharks will probably stick around a bit longer, which is great.
Well, describe an adventure. Like, how does someone come and do this? What happens when someone says, "Hey, Fernanda, I want to go out and swim with sharks"?
Well, mostly I get contacted by Instagram, I would say. So, hey, Fernanda, I want to go swim with sharks. I'm like, great, let's do it. And my boat, I take maximum 6 people. So I like to keep groups pretty small. Anytime you're with big animals, like the less people, the better, basically, right?
That's good.
These animals, we think, oh, sharks, they're so predators or whatever, but they get intimidated, like by all of us, and we don't want to like corral them kind of, or have like all these people around and stress them out. And then so my boat leaves from the Cabo San Lucas Marina, and we'll go out, we'll leave early morning, go see the arch when there's no boats there, which is lovely, and then head out to our spot, which can take anywhere between like 30 minutes to 2 hours. Right now, the sharks are pretty close, so we're not going too far out. And then we get there, we set everything up. We've got all these different like shark toys that we call them to efficient traveling process. And then I'll give everybody a briefing about what we're doing, a little bit about shark behavior, and then all the important rules of like how the in-water interaction is going to be. And then I basically chum with my captain, and we just chum as much as we need until the first shark arrives. And then, so it's all snorkeling or freediving, like I said, so no big gear and tanks. You don't need to have any kind of certification to do it. I do ask people before they come, like, are you comfortable swimming? Have you snorkeled before? Like, being able to use a snorkel and a mask well is pretty important.
Yeah.
Although I've taken people who clearly don't know.
Do not know.
Once you're there with the shark, you forget how to breathe.
Right? Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Do you give lessons on hook removal also? Is that something that...
Yeah, we keep that on the side.
You pay extra for that?
Yeah, right.
So we have a few more minutes here, and I just want to. So tell us about shark behavior, and I know there's a lot of misconceptions. And Claudia, jump in here, but because I know you went to this talk the other night. But what they're affectionate. Tell us about that. Like what is that?
Well, yeah. What Jim was talking about the other night was about how they enjoy being kind of like petting your dog. Your dog will like get closer or rub in, and there's definitely proof that sharks like human and enjoy some kinds of human interaction. And I mean, we do, like, it's important to note that it's not like you should go around and touch any shark that you find. And actually with the pelagic sharks that we swim with, I don't let people touch the sharks. Sometimes we have to redirect them. So we just have to kind of guide them in another direction when they're coming very close to us, which is just, for them to keep swimming and also for you to put some like
boundaries.
Also your boundaries and be like, I'm here, you're there. Like, you're a predator, I'm a predator in a sense. And like mutual respect between us towards the shark and the shark towards us. But yeah, the sharks definitely respond to some of the interaction. They're very curious, like when they're with us in the water. And these sharks specifically, or any sharks really, like, they don't eat humans. And they're a lot smarter than we give them credit. A lot of people say sharks are completely instinctual.
Instinct driven, right?
Yeah. And they're just there for the food, and that's just simply not true. I mean, I can see the personalities in different sharks, even of the same species, right? The mako sharks, you have makos that love to come really close and swim in between us. There's makos that are a bit, not really
standoffish.
Yeah, they're like, what are you doing here? You're weird, and you're splashing a lot. You're clearly not comfortable. Like, they look at us like, well, what are these weird monkeys in the water? But yeah, they all have different personalities, and there's definitely many occasions in different parts of the world where you can see people essentially befriending or getting close to and getting to know different sharks. Just like any other wild animal, somebody that spends a lot of time with them, like Jane Goodall with gorillas and chimpanzees, like eventually they recognize her and they accept her, and they're smart and they know what they're not just out there to attack and to kill anything they find. Something I find quite funny is sometimes when we're chumming, sea lions will come. And then I'm always like, oh no. And it's not because I don't like sea lions, but sharks don't like them because they're like annoying. They find them very annoying. Like the sea lions start like twisting and turning and diving. And the sharks
don't sharks eat sea lions?
So that's it. They don't eat, or at least the mako sharks and the blue sharks and these sharks don't eat sea lions. And yeah, they could bite them and do some damage, but actually sometimes we swim with sharks and then a sea lion shows up and the sharks just get really annoyed and they leave because sea lion's taking the chum and, blowing bubbles in their face. And
They're just annoying.
Yeah.
it's so different than what we're told or what we think.
Exactly.
Like it's
Absolutely.
so interesting. Wow. So do you, when you see the sharks, do you see how their postures? Can you tell if there's an aggressive posture going on? You can tell. Is
Yeah.
that
So normally when the shark arrives, I'll jump in the water first and I just kind of check out the behavior and also just check out how the shark reacts to a human or like another big animal being in the water with them. Because I'm pretty short, by the way. Not that you can necessarily tell, but I'm pretty small.
we can't tell on Zoom?
Yeah. But, even me with my fins on and with, my mask and my wetsuit. I mean, I look a lot longer than I am. And we're about the same size as the sharks.
Okay.
So they see us a little bit as competition. They're a little bit like, oh, is this animal here to get the food that I can smell as well? And there are some changes in behavior that we can notice, but it's not always aggressive. Like sometimes when they flex their jaw a lot, it can be like they're starting to get agitated. But at the same time, they can also flex their jaw because they're looking for food, because they're eating, or because literally they're just like stretching it,
Fernanda, I'm going to ask you if you can stay with us while we do the news, and we're going to do some bonus material on Facebook Live because there's some other questions that I'd like to ask. Can you stay with us for a little bit?
Absolutely, I'll be
okay. Great. So we're with Fernanda Nieto, and she is the owner of Latitude Encounters. She swims with sharks, and we're going to talk more about it. So stay with us on Facebook Live. But Claudia, I know we want to get to some news items, so our listeners on the radio can hear those. And again, you can always go to Cabomil News on Facebook to see all the bonus material and learn more about sharks. So what do we have in the news, Claudia?
So in the news for this week, we're staying at level 3, as we mentioned at the beginning of the show. And officially, we will stay at level 3 until April 4. The numbers have remained pretty much at the same level. There were a few increases in most of the municipalities. The one municipality with the most new number of cases was Los Cabos, but it's still low enough that we're not increasing level or anything like that. So that's all good news. Based on that, the authorities for the federal zone have confirmed that beaches will be open during Holy Week and Easter at 50% capacity. And they also confirmed that overnight and even day camping is not allowed for this season, which, as we mentioned last week, is very traditionally what locals do. This was the week where people went camping to the beach.
Can I just ask a question about? Can I ask a question about what? How do they know if someone's day camping? I don't quite understand that.
You
I mean, if
put
someone's
up
on
your
the
tent.
you can't just have a tent for shade.
I guess you can have a tent, but not. It's more like you can have a shade, but maybe not a tent. I don't know.
Okay, I think that's a weird rule. I just want to know. That's a weird rule. Okay,
yeah. But definitely no overnight camping. Beaches in all municipalities except for Los Cabos will be officially closed at 6 p.m. Los Cabos will stay open until 7 p.m. And on average, for the beaches that are officially open in Los Cabos, an average of 20,000 people will be able to enjoy the beaches on a daily basis. So, get there early. There will be checkpoints. They're going to be taking your temperature. They will ask you to use sanitizing gel. And the norm or the recommendation from the authorities is that groups have to be 2 meters apart. So like 7 feet apart between groups.
Okay.
So yeah,
great.
Anything you get to go to the beach, so that'll be fun.
That's so exciting. Anything else? Anything else in the news?
No. Well, we talked the whole first half of the show about the big news, which is Los Cabos is the first verified destination in the world. It's a big deal.
It's a huge deal.
And
it's unbelievable.
Yeah,
someone needs to give Rodrigo a raise. By the way,
because go diving with sharks. I think he'll be happy with that.
No, but I mean, I hope no one tries to steal him away another destination, because to be honest, that's huge. It's huge. Unbelievable what that and that's known all over the world. It's something that can be broadcast out, and again, people in the States, I know a lot of them are looking for a place to go. They're itching to get to a place, and they hear how safe Los Cabos is. This is where they they should come, and they even have a chance to swim with sharks.
Yes.
So,
which turns out are not all that we thought they were. I do have to say, I mean,
yeah.
I would probably forget how to breathe. I'm supposed to know how to snorkel, but not sure. Even after hearing all the talks and seeing the videos and all the footage, a lot of the footage that Jim showed reminded me of like cat behavior. They keep talking about how they're like dogs. In my mind, they're more like cats. They're like, yeah, I like you, but just for a little bit.
Me,
Now
yeah. That's a good analogy. I think it's very sad that a generation, especially I think you're in my generation, Claudia, we saw Jaws at a bad age, and I think it really gives sharks a bad name. And so Steven Spielberg is known as for a lot of good things. I think he has done a lot of harm to a lot of sharks from that movie. And I don't think that was an intentional thing, but obviously that movie, it scared a lot of people. It scares me. Even when I scuba dive, and I've been in situations where I'm just in blue water, that's the thing that comes to your mind sometimes. And it's just sad because it's just not true. And if you stay with us on Facebook Live, you're going to hear more about that, because we're gonna continue the conversation with Fernanda Nieto, and I think it's so interesting. But what an interesting show today, Claudia! Really
fun.
Informative. Rodrigo's amazing. He looks great. Check him out on Facebook Live. Rodrigo, if you're out there again hearing this, you look great. keep casual, my friend.
Yes, that's a good look for Rodrigo.
And check it out. You can follow us on Cabomil News on Facebook, or of course 96.3 FM on Cabomil, Sunday nights at 6 p.m. We will be back next week. Claudia, do you want to do a quick summary in Spanish? What happened today?
El día de hoy tuvimos la presencia de Rodrigo Esponda del Fideicomiso de Turismo de Los Cabos, quien habló con nosotros acerca de la certificación de Verified que se dio a Los Cabos en conjunto de Forbes Travel Guide y Sharecare. Y también contamos con la presencia de Fernanda Nieto de Latitude Encounters, experta en buceo y en safaris acuáticos, donde tenemos la oportunidad de estar en contacto directo con tiburones pelágicos y otras especies.
And just so everyone knows out there, the reason we do that is it's a requirement when you have an English-speaking show in Mexico that you do a summary in Spanish, just so you understand why we do that. Next week, you're going to want to join us because we have an author who is a childhood friend of mine named Tom Zollner, who wrote a book called An Ordinary Man, which is the book that Hotel Rwanda, the movie, is based on. And he's written some other books. He was Gabrielle Gifford's speechwriter. Gabrielle Giffords was the person that was shot by Jared Loughner at a Safeway in Tucson, Arizona. He also wrote a book about that. Very interesting guy. He's a professor now and written a lot of books. So looking forward to having him on the show next week. You're not going to want to miss it. And Claudia, another great show. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll see you next. Stay with us on Facebook Live, and we're going to continue the conversation with Fernanda. Everyone, have a great week.
Catch you next time.
Great. All right, Fernanda, you're back. You can come off mute. So I had a question that came to mind that I wanted to ask. The sharks that always get the bad rap are like a tiger shark or a bull shark, obviously the great white shark. Is that true? I know that, Rodrigo actually talks about the bull sharks and how he swims with them at Cabo Pulmo. But those are the sharks that you always hear about. And the Mako, too. The Mako has a little bit of that reputation. But the tiger shark's always the one I hear about. And what's the story there?
So these sharks are obviously, they're very big sharks. But there's no shark that will intentionally bite a human or attack a human. And if you read or hear about or investigate any of these shark attack stories, the shark never eats the person. It's always just a bite. Unfortunately, when you're talking about these bigger sharks, a bite
can be traumatic.
It's a big bite.
Yeah, especially because often if you're swimming in these areas where there's sharks, normally you're not 10 minutes from a hospital, and
Right.
so it can be deadly, and it can be dangerous, of course. But it's not like, a lot of people ask me like, which is the most aggressive shark, and my answer is like, there is no aggressive shark. The sharks are not aggressive. A lot of the time, I mean, I've been scuba diving with bull sharks many times here in Los Cabos, in Cabo Pulmo, and also on the other side of Mexico with the bull sharks in Playa del Carmen. And they're just typical shark behavior. They're curious. They like to be dominant. They're big. But they're not in any way showing aggression. Now, yeah, there are accidents that happen with surfers or swimmers. Like, the bull sharks have a bad rap because the bull sharks are one of the only sharks that can go into brackish water, so they can go into fresh water. They don't. So often they're swimming upstream in rivers, low visibility, and like us humans, we're splashing around on the surface. Again, we're not, even the best free divers in the world are still nowhere near as agile as a fish or a dolphin or whatever. We look like we don't know what we're doing because that's not our natural habitat. Right. So there's just an element of confusion, and the sharks have to make sure that they're eating something that's going to give them more energy than they're wasting or than they're using, to eat and digest that. And humans are not that. Like, we just don't have that. We have big bones. We don't have that much fat. It's not. We're not energy. We're not like energy proficient food. So, shark attacks are test bites that are unfortunate, but they're not attacks. They're test bites, and that's just how the sharks live their life, is by testing something. Do I want to eat this? Yes. Okay, I'm going to eat it. No, that's not going to be good for me. And unfortunately, in some places that can be a human. But the reality is that, I don't know how many times, but many more times, people die from accidents with horses or cows or, these large mammals or large animals that live on our planet, on land, that we're not scared of. But the reality is that there's more accidents, and there's still accidents, right? It's not that horses are running around killing people,
right?
But they're accidents and they happen. We're talking about wildlife, and us interacting with wildlife is a big deal. And especially since more and more we're taking away their space, or we're invading their space, both on land and in the water. So our interactions with wildlife become more and more frequent, and therefore there can potentially be more accidents. But like, knowing how to behave around sharks can be life-saving, I guess, if you ever encountered a shark while snorkeling. And that's something that I love. Like, at Latitude, sometimes we get photographers or these big shot divers, and that's great, right? I love it. Come, take photos, awesome. But for me, my favorite people are the ones that have never seen a shark before. They're really nervous, and that that you're going to change their life, and you're going to change their perspective. And they're probably going to go home and tell their friends and show them videos. And those are the people that are having a really big impact on the world. Like, my mother, who 10 years ago was terrified of sharks, is now like the biggest shark advocate. And like, she tells everyone like, no, look. And she's showing people on her iPhone, my daughter swims with sharks. Like, because, she's learned from being there, and she's done the shark dives with me. And
so cool.
And yeah, she's learned to love them.
Well, expect a message from me, because I've got 6 people, I think, that want to go see this already. So we're gonna figure this out in the next couple weeks.
Awesome.
So
great.
we'll be in touch. Anything else, Claudia, before we wrap up the show today?
I'm just, thank you so much, Fernanda, because I know you were working, you were taking people out, and you had accommodated our schedule. Thank you. And thank you for, as you say, creating this awareness and dispelling the myth and showing people that we are intruding in their space, and to do so in a respectful way is always important. And something that you mentioned, Korey, when you dive and you're in that deep blue, we realize how minuscule we are and how irrelevant we are. And especially diving, because we're so out of our space. I mean, we can't breathe, we can't do anything. And no, it's great. It must be such a wonderful, wonderful experience to do what you do, Fernanda, and looking forward to sharing that with personally and with other people. Thank you so much for your time.
And to lose my fear of sharks, I can't wait to do that, because it's truly something that holds me back.
Oh yeah,
and so
I hear the music in my head every time you're in the water.
Yeah. But Fernanda, it's a true pleasure. Thank you for what you do, and I think it's amazing. It's obviously you're passionate about it. It's fun to listen to you, and just we're encourage people to come out and swim with some sharks with you. So we'll do that, and we'll be in touch. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure to meet you all, and I really hope that we go swim with some sharks soon.
We'll be in touch. We'll be in touch very soon, I promise.
I look forward to it.
All right.
Thank you
so much.
Bye.
Thank you, Fernanda.
Bye. Bye, everybody on Facebook.
Bye. So, Claudia,